Greetings, Earthlings! I'm Malakai. Welcome to the Genesis Key. There are multiple variations of the joke that you just saw circulating all over the internet. Some non-Christians argue that because all sin of all magnitude can be forgiven by Jesus on the cross, a Christian should logically be able to go out into the world and sin in any way that he or she desires. Therefore, a Christian can just steal a bike and ask for forgiveness. Or in fact do something much worse. Not long ago, I had this joke posted on my Facebook wall, and I think it's about time I posted a video response. Now, to a Christian such as myself, the very idea that we can get away with sin, with just sinning to my heart's content, is repugnant. The cross is not there as a get-out-of-hell-free card, it is there to save us from sin in both senses. It's not only there to save us from the punishment for the sins that we have committed, it's also there to help save us from sinning in the first place. As Pastor Bob Coy puts it, if you're living like hell, I don't think you get to heaven. The book of Romans makes this especially clear. Let's pick a few choice verses. Romans 12:2, which says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to put to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Sin is the pattern of this world to which we as Christians are called not to conform to. Just as a boat is fine when it's in the water but sinks when it becomes of the water, so we as Christians are to live in the world but not become part of the world. Romans 2:4 says, "Or do you show contempt for the riches of his kindness, forbearance and patience, not realizing that God's kindness is intended to lead you to repentance?" Well, isn't that what I said just a moment ago? The cross is intended to free us from sin in both senses of the word. Repentance is turning away from sin, even if our sin keeps following us. And so God's kindness to us is intended to stop us from sin, not let us get away with it. In Matthew 7:21-23, Jesus describes Judgment Day. Several people tell him that they did many great works in his name, but because they were still evil at heart, Jesus rejects them. John 14:23-24 also tells us that if we love Jesus, which is obviously a requirement for salvation, we would obey him. I obey Jesus whenever I can because I love him. If I wanted a bike so I stole one, I would be dishonouring him, which is something that I really don't want to do. Now, I want to make one thing quite clear in this video. Christians are not guaranteed to never sin once in our lives. Our spirit may be willing to obey God, but as Matthew 26:41 tells us, our flesh is still weak. We will, inevitably, fall into sin even when we don't want to. In Romans 7:15, Paul tells us that he has the exact same problem. What he wants to do, he doesn't, and instead he does that which he hates. I'd be willing to bet anything that I speak for every Christian on the planet when I say this. We all hate sin, but we all still do it. In fact, whenever I say, "Forgive me, Lord," I can't help thinking back to this bike joke. Am I really any different from someone who steals and prays? If I'm not, may the Lord correct my error. In conclusion, yes, it is still wrong for a Christian to steal a bike. The cross is not a free sin license. It is designed to separate Christians from sin. Jesus can and will save his children from any sin, but he will not save those who use him just to justify sin. Thank you for watching. God bless.